Hamas militants keep watch, making sure this brief meeting is not detected. It's taken months to gain access to one of the world's most secretive and controversial groups.
حتى التحرك من قبل المجاهدين لأن العدو كما نعلم يمتلك الكثير من وسائل خاصة يعني في كشف بعض الاتصالات وتحديد الأماكن للمجاهدين. تلف 16 اليوم.
During the past year, more than 20 of their top leaders have been assassinated by the Israelis.
لم يتوقف عن جرائمه وبالتالي هناك كانت تصريحات خطيرة من قبل قادة في الجيش الصهيوني بمواصلة الاغتيالات والاعتداءات في قطاع غزة. لذلك كان الوضع الأمني متوتر نوعاً ما.
They are targeted and attacked, yet their movement just keeps growing, and now looms as a major political force. A few days earlier, Hamas won the municipal elections in Gaza and the West Bank, even though their surviving leaders are still in hiding. This is a journey inside Hamas at a transformative time, on its way to becoming a political power, with much more influence than the gun. A rally in Hebron, the West Bank, marks the beginning of the Second Intifada in September 2000. Hamas, the Islamic resistance movement, will become its defining voice. With relentless determination, Hamas has turned the territorial struggle for Palestine into a struggle for God. It was founded in 1987 with this covenant: to destroy the state of Israel through jihad, to raise the banner of Islam over every inch of Palestine. Since it was founded, Hamas has claimed responsibility for the death of more than 400 Israelis.
Hamas, we see it as a terror organization. And we have the right to see it. You know, they are killing us in our streets.
You know what? Why they are doing it? Because they want to take revenge. This is the real reason, to take revenge.
I don't agree with what they do. They do terrorist acts. They use sometimes terrorist methods, but I don't say they are terrorist organizations.
Depends where you stand. If you stand on the Israeli side, you think Hamas is a terrorist. If you stand on the Palestinian side, you think that Sharon is a terrorist.
This is Gaza Strip, in its 4th year of the uprising, and an almost daily dose of brutal violence. In one of the most densely populated lands in the world, Hamas can only operate with the support of the people.
ونحن كحركة جماهيرية وحركة يعني نعمل فوق الأرض ولا يمكن أن نعمل تحت الأرض.
The whole of the Gaza Strip is only 350 square kilometers. One of the few surviving orchards provides temporary cover. This is a search for answers. Who are the people behind the mask, and where do they come from? What does the phenomenal growth of their movement mean for the future? It won't be easy, Years of imprisonment, both by the Israelis and the Palestinian Authority, have taught them to become the ultimate secret society, based on 3-member cells.
الانضمام إلى كتائب القسام هي كتائب القسام هي التي تختار مجاهديها ولا ينضم أحد إليها بتسجيل أو بغيره.
أنا ما منظر خلاص اجاك عليك.
أنا لست من قطاع غزة، أنا أسكن مؤقتا في غزة. أنا من بلدة محتلة عام 48 وكذلك جميع أو أغلب المجاهدون هنا على أرضنا. نحن نعيش في هذه الأرض بشكل مؤقت وسنعود يوما إلى أرضنا بإذن الله. ونحن نقاوم من أجل هذا الهدف، من أجل طرد المحتل والدفاع عن أرضنا وعن كرامتنا. احنا نرتدي هذا القناع فقط في المهمات العسكرية على أرضنا فلسطين، ونمارس حياتنا بشكل طبيعي. منا الطلاب ومنا الأطباء ومنا المهندسين ومنا العمال. أنا طالب في الجامعة.
الجامعة الإسلامية.
نعم.
وبتدرس إيش؟
أدرس في إحدى التخصصات في الجامعة الإسلامية.
If you want to understand Hamas, you have to understand it is a movement. It is a way of life, a fundamental way of life. It is the jihad as well. And since I saw both ends, I think that it is a very dangerous phenomenon.
Hamas operates in Gaza and the West Bank, but Gaza is its real home. After nearly 4 decades of Israeli occupation and ravaged by a corrupt Palestinian leadership, it's a breeding ground of despair and recruits. This is the house of Hamas founder, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin. He was a handicapped schoolteacher who believed Palestinians could not restore their homeland until they restored their faith.
Hamas, the Islamic resistance movement, did not come out of a void. Hamas is a continuation of a tradition that had for many years been with the Palestinians and with the Muslims, called the Muslim Brotherhood.
The Muslim Brotherhood combined charity for the poor with religious education. It taught the meaning of jihad, an inner struggle for God that, when necessary, became an external one. Israel, preoccupied with fighting Yasser Arafat and his secular PLO, legitimized Sheikh Yassin's charities.
The Israelis did not see the sort of activities carried out by Sheikh Ahmed Yassin as a threat, because religious institutions to the Israelis until the late 70s were considered to be not dangerous. Their schools and orphanages and kindergartens were flooded with pupils and students.
The Muslim Brotherhood created Gaza's Islamic University, part of a vast social network that has become entrenched among the people.
The founders of this university were bots in Hamas movement. Not all people in Islamic University mean Hamas. No, Hamas in all the streets. Yes. Hamas has a very big popular reputation inside the Palestinian street. And most of us agree with Hamas and its doings.
Every student from all what you see is wishing to die or to do anything to liberate this country, because every day we see our children die, we see our houses destroyed.
في حدا شباب هم ضد المقاومة. You see, all of them agree about the resistance.
We are not animals here. Die under shells, die under houses. This is depression, psychological depression. We are suffering from this psychological depression. If I live a free life, I wouldn't think to go and bump myself. I wouldn't. Yes, they killed a girl 2 years old. And this is the peace they want. We don't want this peace. It is better for us to live and fight till die.
September 2004. On the 4th anniversary of the Intifada, Israel begins Operation Penitence. It's an effort to punish Hamas, whose rockets have killed 2 Israeli children. Over the next 10 days, more than 120 people will die. Unlike Hamas, Israeli operations do not target civilians. But few Palestinians see the distinction.
The popularity of Hamas grows when there is despair, when there is lack of hope, when there is poverty, when there is violence.
Hamas's religious image has deep psychological roots.
We did a study on 3,000 children in Gaza, and we found out that nearly 45% of them witnessed the beating and the humiliation of their fathers by the Israeli soldiers in front of their eyes. The father became helpless, unable to protect himself. And what has this done to the children is serious. Comes the time when they are teenagers, and the father figure replacement comes in the group, Hamas, which takes the role of the father and accommodate the children, take them in. And together, we identify with the ultimate father, God. And why God? Because contrast to your father, original father, God cannot be humiliated. It can only be dignity. God cannot be defeated as your father was, because God is only victorious. And even if you die for God, you don't die.
Hamas leaders expect to be killed, and they've been continually targeted during the making of this film. Meetings have been arranged and canceled many times. Finally, there is contact. These are the last 3 Hamas leaders still alive in Gaza. They've been moving from house to house for the past year. Dr. Mahmoud al-Zahar, a physician, is now head of the Gaza operation. This is his first interview since he's gone underground.
I was already assassinated by the Israeli. They attacked my house, they injured my wife deeply, deep injuries.
This is footage of the bombing of Dr. Zahar's home.
I was injured in the back and face and ribs.
It is the beginning of a stepped-up campaign that Israel calls targeted killing.
The Israel also killed my son. Deeply injured my daughter.
Aside from his family, 20 civilians are injured.
I was transmitted from one area to another, from house to another. According to the will of the people, everybody was looking to help me personally, to express his sympathy and to support me by all means. And up to this moment, we are living the same condition. It's difficult, but our goal is noble goal, and we are ready to sacrifice. The people are sacrificing their life to liberate their land. I would like to address for everybody that we are believers, and we are deeply committed to Islam. And we practice how Islam is the medicine for everything, including all the difficult conditions you described as a person, as family, as organization, and as a national issue. Believe me, I am not afraid. I'm taking too much precautions, but we are not afraid. If we are afraid, we will do nothing.
While Zahar runs the Gaza operation from hiding by computer and cell phone, the Al-Qassam military wing has its own directives. The Jabalia refugee camp is one of their strongholds. Militants gather homemade bombs and rocket-propelled grenades to use against the Israeli tanks that have been besieging the camp. In the last 4 years, Hamas has become the undoubted leader of all Palestinian militant factions, responsible for the highest number of Israeli casualties. In the nighttime attack, an Israeli shell kills the Hamas commander. It's shadow warfare. His men slip back into the night. The urban guerrillas will take off their masks and simply disappear. The Palestinian saga is the story of uprooting and the confiscation of their land. It's left a legacy of bitterness and betrayal. 1948. The Palestinians call this Nakba, the disaster. After the United Nations declared the partitioning of Palestine and the establishment of a Jewish state, the ensuing war left 750,000 Palestinians exiled from their homes. It is here, in the refugee camps, that Hamas has its most dedicated constituency. Those who still hold the key to their old homes and still wait to return.
وخرجنا بقوة السلاح في جنح الظلام. عملوا مجزرة عنا بقلب البلد، قتلوا 14 رجل. اللي حطوهن على جنب الحيط وثلاثون.
رشوا البرصاص.
هجت العالم من الخوف.
في ابن عمه، في ابن.
ما عرفتيش تجيبيها انت.
اخوه. طلعت حملنا هالبنت وطلعنا بيتنا مفتح. وكل غراضنا فيه. طلعنا ولا اخذنا مفتاح ولا اخذنا شيء. ضلينا طالعين.
كيف احرم أنا أحترم من أرضي ومن وطني وأعيش خارج بلادي وهم يأتون بالفلاشة وغير الفلاشة على أرض فلسطين.
The political wing of Hamas is the nerve center of the organization. Its members move among different Arab capitals. Director Khalid Mashal has agreed to meet us at an undisclosed location, somewhere in Lebanon. They have taken the camera. This is a recreation. Another Hamas leader was killed in Damascus just 2 months before. Now Mashal, a physicist, is the driving force of the movement, strategizing on the international front.
ولا زلت حتى اللحظة ملاحقاً من الموساد الإسرائيلي.
Mashal almost died in 1997 when Mossad agents, posing as Canadians, injected him with poison.
الآن هناك ضغوط على سوريا من أجل إخراجنا رغم أننا موجودون في سوريا وفي دول أخرى. نحن نتنقل بين عواصم عدة، إذن هناك ضغط على حماس. أنا ولدت في بلدة أو قرية تسمى سلواد في الضفة الغربية قرب رام الله عام 1956، وعشت 11 سنة في هذه القرية حتى عام 67 عندما جرت الحرب بين إسرائيل والدول العربية المجاورة، ونشأ عن هذا كما تعلمون كارثة إنسانية كبيرة. حصلت هجرة لمئات الآلاف من أبناء فلسطين من الرجال والنساء والشيوخ والأطفال. شكلت لي حالة انعطافة وحالة يقظة وربما حالة وعي مبكر لشخص عمره 11 عاماً. أيضاً هذا حفر معنى مهم في ذاكرتي وفي نفسيتي وفي وجداني، ولذلك أنا من تلك اللحظة شعرت بمسؤولية كبيرة وأن هذه الحالة لابد أن تنتهي. وهنا بدأ التفكير كيف نعود إلى فلسطين، كيف نحول الضعف الفلسطيني والمعاناة الفلسطينية والتشرد الفلسطيني إلى لحظة قوة من أجل الحق وليس من أجل العدوان. حق فلسطيني في مواجهة عدوان إسرائيلي. هنا بدأ التشكل عندي في وجداني عقلاً وعاطفة ووجدانا وتفكيرا، ثم تحول بعد ذلك إلى تخطيط وإلى تفكير وعمل من أجل بناء مشروع حركة حماس. كنت وقتها طالبا في جامعة الكويت كما ذكرت في أواسط السبعينيات.
Khalid Mashal studied physics but was consumed with politics. He formed a group of student revolutionaries to help Yassin's movement from Kuwait.
البعض رأى الطريق في الاشتراكية، البعض رآها في الماركسية، البعض رآها في القومية، وأنا كفلسطيني وجدت ألا تناقض بين أن أكون فلسطينياً لي مشاعر وطنية وبين أن أكون مسلماً لي التزام الديني، فأنا ابن هذه الأمة وابن هذا الشعب، بل إن الله سبحانه وتعالى يعطي أجر كبير لمن يدفع العدوان، لمن يقاتل المحتل، لمن يستشهد في سبيل قضيته، لمن يواسي الجرحى والأطفال والأيتام والمتضررين من هذا الاحتلال.
In December 1987, spontaneous riots led to a popular uprising that would become known as the First Intifada. Yassin and his followers chose this moment to declare the birth of Hamas. By 2004, Hamas had a huge public following. They had vowed never to fight other Palestinian factions. Their combination of armed resistance and charity work, like this daycare for needy children, was winning the public.
كرياض إسلامية والكل يثق بها. كم عدد الأطفال؟ 2000 طفل. حماس يعني تحمل شمولية الإسلام. يعني حينما نقول أن تلك المؤسسات نحن نربيهم حتى ينتموا إلى حماس، نقول يعني كما ذكرت أنه في البداية إحنا معنيين نربيهم على الإسلام ولهم أن ينتموا إلى حماس أو إلى غير حماس.
But moderate Palestinians, especially women, fear the rise of an Islamic state.
Our history shows that we were never fanatic people in religion. We were never fundamentalists. But mainly during the last 10, 15 years, the occupation is pushing us to, I always say, is pushing us to the wall where we can find no other option except to go for the Hamas. It's influencing young minds, but we are fighting them. This is the issue, that we are trying to fight them. It's not only the women that will be affected when Hamas is, the worst will be for the women, but the whole society will be undemocratic society.
هذا ما يجب أن تعرفيه، وهذه رسالة. الشهادة رسالة، لبس الحجاب رسالة، كل ما نفعله رسالة لنوصل الإسلام إلى كل الناس.
Hamas represented in the minds of people here the resistance, a group of faithful Muslims, incorruptible. People compare between the Palestinian Authority and its corruption and mismanagement and so on, and Hamas, who looks so clean. And they think, well, this is the good group.
It's a very secretive organization because of the circumstances of occupation, because of the security concerns. People join a study circle, which begins as an open study circle. They receive basic teachings of Islam, and then as they progress, they move into a more closed circle. They are also taught things about politics, about the movement, and level after the level until they become fully active.
ومن خلال المساجد من الانتفاضة الأولى تمام الحمد لله يعني وجدنا يعني حماس لما طلع في 87 لما انتشأت حركة حماس في الانتفاضة الأولى دخلنا معها جلسات أسر تمام حبسنا في السجون وظلينا مستمرين يعني داخل حركة حماس وبعدين الحمد لله توصلنا اشتغلنا في الجهاز العسكري في الكتاب القسام وعلى هيك يعني.
Hamas is proud of the Farahat family. Wissam was injured firing a rocket, then spent years in an Israeli jail. His older brother, Nadal, was the architect of the Qassam rockets. He was assassinated by the Israelis, but not before recruiting his youngest brother, Mohammed.
نضال اختار محمد عشان كان يحبه كتير عشان يكون استشهادي وربنا يعني يرضى عليه ويدخل الجنة. كان 4 مرشحين للعملية فرحت كتبت أنا رسالة للشيخ صالح شحاتة ورجيت ورجع حار إنه يختار محمد لتنفيذها.
Maryam Farahat got her wish. Mohammed was 17 years old when he was chosen for the suicide operation.
أنا بدي أقول حتى يومتي يعني الله يسهل عليه ما طلع لتنفيذ العملية يعني بقول لك كان داري دموع مني بدراء حاسة في قلبه حزن كبير علي وأنا نفس الإشي لكن إحنا 2 ضغطنا على عواطفنا لأجل الله وربنا يتقبل منا.
This is the family's home video of their final goodbye.
يعني طلعت وما كانت بسيطة علي.
Though suicide is not permitted in Islam, Hamas deems the mission's sacrifice and has become expert at promoting the message of martyrdom.
لكن والله لا ندم ولا جزع الحمد لله مستعدة أقدم المزيد.
Muhammad infiltrated a Jewish settlement and killed 5 students before he was fatally shot. It was the use of suicide operations that made the name Hamas synonymous with terror, and it was a weapon that changed the face of the war.
The first week in my position as the director of the Israeli Security Agency, we Israelis, we paid a very, very expensive price, a very painful price. We lost 55 people, all of them civilians, in buses, in our streets, and more than 200 wounded in less than 2 weeks.
How can you, a man of religion, defend the morality of suicide bombings? No matter how just the Palestinian cause, it's appalling to see young people going and blowing themselves up and killing innocent women and children on the Israeli side.
If you are going to see it by one eye, I am accept your argument. But if you are going to use your 2 eyes, you have to look for our miserable condition. How many children killed in the last Intifada? 1/3 of the Palestinian people killed are children. And we said for the Israeli many times, stop targeting the civilian, we are going to stop targeting your civilian.
نحن نعلم أن كثيراً كما تفضلت من المتعاطفين في العالم لا يفهمون موضوع العمليات الاستشهادية وقد تدفعهم إلى التراجع عن تعاطفهم لكن نحن نقول ما البديل؟
I think it's our right to defend ourselves, our people, and our national goal against a foreign occupation who have all the destructive weapons to kill. We have the same instruments as our enemy.
People can't believe that Hamas can give any security when they are standing against the Israeli helicopters, the Israeli airplanes, the Israeli tanks. You know why they are doing it? Because they want to take revenge. This is the real reason.
We asked Khalid Mashal what he believed the suicide missions accomplish.
فنحن نريد بهذه العمليات أن نقول يا إسرائيل اختاري بين أمرين. إذا أردت الأمن فلينتهي الاحتلال. أما إذا أصررت على الاحتلال لا أمن لك. لا تستطيع إسرائيل أن تجمع بين الاحتلال للأرض وبين أمنها. هذه هي الرسالة.
This tunnel leads to Israel, and the only way for Palestinians in Gaza to cross into the West Bank to see their families. A Hamas suicide bomber blew herself up here months ago. It's the endless cycle of the occupation. Fear leads to brutal lockdowns, which inevitably lead to rage. This is Sedero, a sleepy Israeli town next to the Gaza border. Sedero seemed a world away from Gaza until Hamas developed rockets with the range to reach here.
האמת היא שכל הזמן אנחנו חיים בפחד. אנחנו נראים כאלה שלווים ושקטים, וכל הזמן אמרנו שזה לא יקרה, ושזה, אם נפל קסאם, אז תמיד אמרנו שזה ייפול בשטח פתוח, וכאילו לא חשבנו לרגע שזה יכול לגרום לאסון כזה גדול. עוד אצלנו, במשפחה.
היה את ההתראה, אלה חיבקה אותי, ואחרי כמה שניות היה בום מדהיר. ראיתי אותה על הרצפה, שוכבת.
אנחנו, בשלב שהיינו איתה בבית חולים, אז הבנו שהולך לקרוא לה משהו. שהיא הולכת להיפרד מאיתנו.
Ella Abu Qasis died 3 weeks before this interview. She was 17 years old.
שהייתה מלאך. 17.5 שנים של תהילה ליפול מלאך, וקשה לנו שהיא לא נמצאת איתנו.
האבסורד פה, שאנחנו משקיעים מיליוני דולרים בפיתוח, באמצעי לחימה, בחינוך, במורשת קרב, בקידום של כל מיני נושאים, בהחזקה של חיילים, של מחנות, של מי יודע מה. והם, עם חתיכת צינור הכי פרימיטיבי שיכול להיות, מצליחים להרוג את הבת שלי. זה מה שמקומם אותי. שלנו יש את האמצעים, בלחיצת כפתור אחת למחוק אותם. אותנו מלמדים, גם בתוך המלחמה, לא לבזוז ולא לגנוב. כל שכן, לשמור על חיי האדם וחיי האזרחים. אותם לא מלמדים את זה. מה שמעניין אותם זה לראות את היהודים מושמדים. אין להם דין ואין להם דיין. ומה שהם הולכים לעשות פה, זה להמשיך ולקחת חלקים בקצב של הטרור. הם יעשו טרור, יקבלו, יראו שהטרור משתלם וימשיכו.
Here, death is no respecter of borders. Grief, like a dark river, flows from one side to the other. Soon after Ella died, an Israeli tank fired on a group of children they believed were Hamas militants.
هذاك النهار أول يوم في العطلة تاعت الدراسة وانت عارفين الأولاد فرحانين بالعطل وفرحانين بعيد كمان بدي يجي عليهم. اجوا هانا اجوهم اصحابهم اجوا هانا هودوا على التوت بدهم يكشفوا البلاستيك عني ينزلوا النايلون الا الدبابه طبت طخ عليهم.
Miriam Jabin lost 5 of her children. In all, 7 children were killed that day as shrapnel tore them apart in the strawberry fields. One boy died later in an Israeli hospital.
يعني اللي ماتوا بروح أصيح على الصحراء وبزورهم وبروح، بس هو الدمع جف من عيني، بس هو لاني قادرة أشوفه. ممكن إنها تتلقى صدمة واحد في واحد، ممكن إنها تسامح ربها فيه، بس تتلقى الصدمة في 5 من أسرة واحدة لا.
سابع 4 سنين يعني ذاكر كل حاجة، فاهم كل إشي. عمروش بنسى هذا الطفل، هذا الطفل هيظل متعقد، كل ما يجي في باله هذا الإشي هيظل متعقد. في الليل بقعدوا يصرخوا ويصيحوا، إيش بدنا نسوي لهم؟ بقول لك ماتوا، تقطعوا لحم، مش عارف إيش.
أنا بأشجب كل عملية، كل جبان سواء إسرائيل أو عرب بيجوا بيتحققوا في اللي زينا السكان، سواء إسرائيل أو المقاومة. بتعمل أعمال العنف اللي زي هذا الله من فوق ما حللهاش، وقتل الأبرياء.
This checkpoint guarded one of the main Jewish settlements that dissected the Gaza Strip. For Israel, the cost of protecting them was enormous, in money and lives. For the Palestinians, it's meant life in a virtual prison. 1,600 homes have been destroyed here in the ongoing Israeli campaign against Palestinian insurgents.
People call this street the street of death because many people, more than about 62 people were killed in this street because of the random shootings from these military points. I am a Palestinian refugee. My parents were born in a village called Yibna. It is part of Tel Aviv now. My father was killed by the Israelis in 1971, so I became orphan. I was 7 years old. أنتوا صعب تقدرش تخلوهم. So you have to be careful because you are shooting now. بدنا نجيبهم عندك هنا. This is the Israeli checkpoints. Day and night they are shooting. All the buildings here in Rafah are penetrated by bullets. Many also children were killed in these schools. In 1987, Hamas started now to incite people to move and to act against the occupation. So I participated in these activities, and I worked in this intifada for 1.5 years. But after that, I was arrested by the Israeli forces and was sentenced for 5 years. But inside the prison, I think we created a new network. We turned the prison to be a university, and many people learn about conflict, about the Zionist movement. I think we try to adopt ourselves for everything, not to stop, and not to that Israel feel that we became weak. Maybe the Palestinians have something exceptional. When Israel put fences to prevent smuggling of weapons, people are digging under the ground.
Hamas is digging tunnels here under the border with Egypt. They've dug a vast network of tunnels that have Israeli experts fearing a new kind of conflict. Israel fears that large-caliber weapons will reach Gaza this way. They've destroyed more than 100 tunnels this year, bulldozing through swaths of houses that might conceal them.
Israel said that they will destroy all these homes because we don't want to use it for the tunnels. But they did not succeed to stop it. Even they go inside the Palestinian villages, inside Palestinian populations, and destroy more and more. Yeah, from time to time they discover a tunnel, but in the next day they find another one.
وكانت هذه المنطقة يوجد أسفلها نفق استطاعت كتائب القسام حفره عبر 4 شهور.
Hamas videotapes these operations as another form of psychological warfare.
قتلوا إخواننا المجاهدين في نابلس جبل النار وجنين القسام.
December 2004. 2 militants prepare for a new kind of suicide mission.
أتيناكم بشيء لم تعهدوه من قبل. أتيناكم من تحت الأرض والله سنخرج لكم.
Positioned under an Israeli army outpost, they prepare to detonate 1.5 tons of explosives. It's the 3rd tunnel attack in 6 months, taking more than 15 Israeli lives. It presents Israel with the question, what price will they pay for their security? In February 2004, Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon announced a plan to disengage from Gaza. 3 weeks later, he sent a message to Hamas. Sheikh Ahmed Yassin was killed by an Israeli missile as he left his mosque after morning prayers. With his assassination, Israel provoked international condemnation and risked further enraging the Palestinian street. But they didn't want Hamas to claim victory when they pulled out of Gaza. So they made a calculated decision with the advice of counterterrorism experts like Dr. Yohanan Zoroff.
I think that the best way to stop terror is to kill the man who has the responsibility for it. Only the man. Or only the terrorist himself. This is the best way to stop it.
And when Sheikh Ahmed Yassin was assassinated by the Israelis thought they managed to get rid of an arch enemy. They removed him from the way. Actually, his removal brought so much blessing for Hamas itself, an overflow of recruits and an overflow of funding.
Palestinian rage and support for Hamas would continue to grow as 3 weeks later Israel struck again, killing Yassin's successor, Dr. Abdul Rantisi.
Do you think that the assassination of Sheikh Yassin and Rantisi and many others has been a strategic success?
Look, I think that it's the biggest success for Israel. Why? Because the support that Hamas got increased so much that the Hamas feel part of the Arab politics. The most important issue for Israel is that the Hamas will become a political movement and not a resistance movement.
Hamas will ride this wave of support and enter the political arena. With Arafat's death 8 months later, they are poised for power. But they make no promise to leave armed resistance, and many Israelis believe that violence is no longer the best way to fight them.
Hamas is the answer for the Palestinian street only if the peace process collapses. Only if the Palestinian street feel betrayed by us Israelis or by the corruption of the Palestinian leadership, by any other reason. But if Palestinians in the street, they see hope, Hamas will lose its power.
2005 ushers in a new era, an end to the Jewish settlements in Gaza, and a new Palestinian leadership. A fragile ceasefire is in place. Hamas, arguably, holds the key to its success.
You know that the prominent leaders of Hamas were killed or arrested by the Israelis. And all the time they feel that they put in for Hamas. But they found Hamas like a grass, it grew up again.
Hamas has won a major victory in the municipal elections and has entered the race for national politics.
As things stand today, Hamas should be forming the next government in Palestine because of the huge popularity it has shown during the municipal elections, which would face Hamas itself with a strategic question: whether to be part of the peace process and the world politics of today, or not to be part of that and continue to be a militia group working outside the law and outside the accepted norms of this area today.
One way or another, Hamas has become a central player in the region, one with whom the international community must now deal.
بل قد تستغربين أن الإدارة الأمريكية التي وضعتنا على قائمة الإرهاب بل تحرض علينا وتلاحقنا في العالم كله، هذه الإدارة الأمريكية سعت إلى لقائنا في الفترة الماضية وحاولت إغراءنا بدور ما حتى نتوقف عن مقاومتنا.
Now even Israel is said to be talking quietly to Hamas. But Khalid Mashal vows that armed resistance will remain an option. He addresses his constituents by cell phone from Damascus.
العنوان الأول مقاومة الاحتلال والدفاع عن شعبنا.
وليس هناك قائد فلسطيني بعد عرفات أيا كان اسمه يستطيع أن يصنع سلاما أو اتفاقا مع إسرائيل دون الحصول على الحقوق الفلسطينية، بدون أرض فلسطينية، بدون حق العودة، بدون القدس، بدون تفكيك المستوطنات، بدون حصول الفلسطينيين على سيادة حقيقية وبالتالي بناء دولة حقيقية. بدون ذلك وبحرية حقيقية، بدون ذلك ليس هناك سلام ولا استقرار.
But there is a shift. Hamas is in the process of rewriting its original covenant. They no longer speak of liberating every inch of Palestine, at least not now.
We are now ready to establish an independent state, purified state, on any inch of Palestine, but this is not meaning that we are going to prevent our grandsons to achieve their goal.
Hamas has a lot of power to continue with its theoretics. But you must look of the changing that we are seeing now in these days. It's not the Hamas that we saw 2 years ago or even 1 year ago.
You will see a new picture, a new page from Hamas. But Hamas will never change.
Hamas takes the long view. Achieved by political, social, or military means, their cause remains the same. In their shadow, the foot soldiers of the future are waiting. This is Gaza Strip, in its 4th year of the uprising, and an almost daily dose of brutal violence. In one of the most densely populated lands in the world, Hamas can only operate with the support of the people.
ونحن كحركة جماهيرية وحركة يعني نعمل فوق الأرض ولا يمكن أن نعمل تحت الأرض.
The whole of the Gaza Strip is only 350 square kilometers. One of the few surviving orchards provides temporary cover. This is a search for answers. Who are the people behind the mask, and where do they come from? What does the phenomenal growth of their movement mean for the future? It won't be easy. Years of imprisonment, both by the Israelis and the Palestinian Authority, have taught them to become the ultimate secret society, based on 3-member cells.
الانضمام إلى كتائب القسام هي كتائب القسام هي التي تختار مجاهديها ولا ينضم أحد إليها بتسجيل أو بغيره.
أنا منظر خلاص اجاك علي. شجرتين.
أنا لست من قطاع غزة، أنا أسكن مؤقتا في غزة. أنا من بلدة محتلة عام 48 وكذلك جميع أو أغلب المجاهدون هنا على أرضنا. نحن نعيش في هذه الأرض بشكل مؤقت وسنعود يوما إلى أرضنا بإذن الله. ونحن نقاوم من أجل هذا الهدف، من أجل طرد المحتل والدفاع عن أرضنا وعن كرامتنا. احنا نرتدي هذا القناع فقط في المهمات العسكرية على أرضنا فلسطين، ونمارس حياتنا بشكل طبيعي. منا الطلاب ومنا الأطباء ومنا المهندسين ومنا العمال. أنا طالب في الجامعة
الإسلامية.
نعم.
وبتدرس إيش؟
أدرس في إحدى التخصصات في الجامعة الإسلامية.
If you want to
Hamas militants keep watch, making sure this brief meeting is not detected. It's taken months to gain access to one of the world's most secretive and controversial groups.
في حتى التحرك من قبل المجاهدين لأن العدو كما نعلم يمتلك الكثير من الوسائل، خاصة يعني في كشف بعض الاتصالات وتحديد الأماكن للمجاهدين. تلف 16 اليوم.
During the past year, more than 20 of their top leaders have been assassinated by the Israelis.
لم يتوقف عن جرائمه، وبالتالي هناك كانت تصريحات خطيرة من قبل قادة في الجيش الصهيوني بمواصلة الاغتيالات والاعتداءات في قطاع غزة. لذلك كان الوضع الأمني متوتر نوعاً ما.
They are targeted and attacked, yet their movement just keeps growing, and now looms as a major political force. A few days earlier, Hamas won the municipal elections in Gaza and the West Bank, even though their surviving leaders are still in hiding. This is a journey inside. Since it was founded, Hamas has claimed responsibility for the death of more than 400 Israelis.
Hamas, we see it as a terror organization. And we have the right to see it. You know, they are killing us in our streets.
You know what? Why they are doing it? Because they want to take revenge. This is the real reason, to take revenge.
I don't agree with what they do. They do terrorist acts. They use sometimes terrorist methods, but I don't say they are terrorist organizations?
Depends where you stand. If you stand on the Israeli side, you think Hamas is a terrorist. If you stand on the Palestinian side, you think that Sharon is a terrorist.
At Hamas at a transformative time, on its way to becoming a political power with much more influence than the gun. A rally in Hebron, the West Bank, marks the beginning of the Second Intifada in September 2000. Hamas, the Islamic resistance movement, will become its defining voice. With relentless determination, Hamas has turned the territorial struggle for Palestine into a struggle for God. It was founded in 1987 with this covenant: to destroy the state of Israel through jihad, to raise the banner of Islam over every inch of Palestine.